Here's a friendly reminder that all reality is a perception. Every single thing that you experience in what you deem as reality, external reality out there, or even your internal reality, it's just a perception. That applies to your manifestations and experiences that you desire to have. All these desires that you are working on manifesting, that is also your perception that you will feel satisfied and fulfilled when you receive them, when you experience them. If you really think about this further, though, if everything is simply a perception, then you can actually use this as a tool to help you manifest. Okay. And this is why I say, remember when we embody the state of already having it, and then we shift into that version of us, that reality where we are already experiencing our manifestations, our desires. And that's the key. And everyone always asks, how do you embody? How do you embody? Well, you embody by, yes, being the version of you, but like, how do you actually do that? It's through perceiving the world out there and also the world inside you, internally and externally, from the version of you that is experiencing all your desires already. Anything that you'd like to manifest. So if you are manifesting a car, let's say you're manifesting a specific person, because everyone's always asking about how do you manifest a specific person. Let's say your specific person and you are already together. Let's not even call them your specific person. Let's call them your partner. Because if you are already with them, your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, whatever it might be, you'd be referring to them as, your partner. Start perceiving everything from that point of view, not just things that are related to that partner specifically, not just related to relationships specifically, but everything in general. When you are eating, when you are drinking, when you're going for lunch, when you're hanging out with friends, when you're driving your car, when you're going to work, perceive everything from the eyes. I'm saying eyes, but really your all senses, your whole being, as the version of you that's already married to your partner, if that's your desire and your manifestation. If you feel that that is what fulfills you, right, then that's also a perception in itself. So perceive everything from that point of view. That is actually how you embody. You decide who it is that you are, and you perceive everything through that lens. When I'm talking about lens, I'm not just talking about like our eyesight. I'm talking about like you as a whole being. How do you live from that point of view? And yes, I've talked in the past about how it's all about your thinking, your feeling, your emotions, your assumptions, your beliefs. But all of those come from your perception of everything that's happening. And perceptions is also another good thing to keep in your back pocket, because when the 3D is showing you something different than what you expect it to be, aligned to the version of you that's already experiencing your, dream reality life already with your partner, for example, but this is going to apply to any manifestation. It is your perception. You assign the meaning. Assign the meaning in your favor. That's how powerful perception is. You perceive an event that happens in the 3D. The event is simply a neutral event. Your interpretation of that event is the key, because you choose how you interpret that event. And your choice in how to perceive that thing comes from your state of being. Your state of being that you've chosen is one where it already experiences manifestation, already experiences the desire. So by embodying that state of being that already experiences that manifestation, you are perceiving that event, whether it seemingly was favorable or unfavorable to you. Well, it's going to be favorable to you now, because your choice is in the perception of that event. It doesn't matter if they've blocked you. It doesn't matter if they're not responding to your text. It doesn't matter if you see them with a third party. There is no third party. Your perception, as soon as you perceive that as a third party, and that's the reason why you're not together with them, that is perceiving, that's simply you embodying the version of you that is not with your person, and because that person's with a third party. So you are already perceiving all the time. You're just perceiving reality, or you're perceiving the 3D external reality, or even sometimes internally, from a point of view where you don't have your manifestation. You lack your manifestation. You're not living your dream life. You're not living an abundant life. When you understand this, you are shifting your perception, because all reality is a perception. It doesn't matter what is actually happening. It's how you interpret it. Also, everything is your, that not just perception, but awareness, right? Whatever you're aware of in that moment, that is the only thing that exists. And your perception of whatever it is that you're aware of, essentially, is the meaning behind the thing that's happening. to you, but really it's coming from you. So just remember, and if this is a little bit confusing, rewatch this video a few times and let it sink in. How you interpret things, what meaning you assign to things, not just things, but experiences, people, occurrences, right? That is actually what determines, that's your perception essentially. And that is what determines or is a symptom of your state of being. State of being in terms of like related to your desires, sure, or whether you are in a state of being of living in abundance, living a fulfilled life. Of course, if you receive your manifestation, if you're experiencing it, you would feel fulfilled, you'd feel satisfied, right? And if that, because that's your perception of it. If you didn't, then why would you have that desire to begin with? If that desire doesn't fulfill you, then fulfilling that desire in and of itself is not going to get you anything. It's your perception of being fulfilled from that, from receiving that desire, experiencing that desire, finally you're manifested in your 3D physical external reality. That, in essence, that fulfillment is also simply a perception. So just keep this in mind when you're manifesting.